wanted to kind of open the floor to you guys to kind of figure out what is you guys' opinion about voting. Do you feel like it is a tool for us to use in order to fight back against oppression and the things that are at play, or do you feel like voting doesn't matter and it's just a charade? How are we feeling about voting?
I agree. Let me first say, did I vote? I did vote for Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
Well, no, I lied. I was registered to vote, but I was not allowed to vote. My voter registration came to Fulton County. However, it still had me registered in DeKalb County.
Oh, yeah.
So I was unable to vote. So I wanted to, but I couldn't. How do I feel about it? I feel like our ancestors put their lives on the line for way more than a vote. I don't, I strongly feel, especially when it comes to presidential elections, they're selected. I firmly believe that. I do think it's important to know what's going on, as you stated, in the community around you, in the districts around you, especially if you have children. I don't. So I don't really, worry about that too much. However, I do think it's important on that aspect to just at least be informed, even if you don't exercise your right to vote. And I'm a firm disbeliever that just because you don't vote, that doesn't mean that you can't have an opinion about what's going on. I feel like everybody should be able to have an opinion, but put some work behind that opinion. So that's how I feel about that. Vote because you can, and that's just that. Teezy?
Yeah, when she ended is where I'm gonna pick off. I guess I'm like I consider myself a rebel, or I don't consider myself. I think society would label me more so like a rebel. My stance on voting is simply what she said. Do it because we can, simply because it was a point in time where they didn't want us to. And even still, with all the obstacles that we face in the urban community, just trying to get a vote in, you can still tell that they don't want us to vote. So for whatever reason, whether it counts or not, is really irrelevant, because that's nothing that we can control. We can't control the outcome. We can't control the work that they're supposed to put in. We can't control if they hold up to their promises. However, we can control if we get up and go vote. And so with that, my thing is always control the controllables, and that's controlling ourselves. So in that, go vote. Do what you can do and leave it all up to, whatever else is to happen. But at the end of the day, you did your part. And like you said, do it because you can. It was a point in time where people were literally, being dog washed, to stop getting to the voting lines. So, yeah, exactly. So, with that being said, whenever you have the opportunity to do so, go do it. And I say do it in numbers. Just like we did when we went to see Black Panther, something that didn't matter. Let's go to the polls in numbers just to have our presence in there. A lot of black voices, a lot of black skin. Apply that pressure silently. And that's what votes are. It's your voice silently. So if we put a lot of energy and effort into things that don't matter, even though voting may or may not matter, put the energy into it and into the way that you want to, see things. Go in numbers and make noise. Go in your gear and your Black Panther gear. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need to do, just go do it. Go do it.
I like that. Yeah.
I've said this before in interviews and stuff like that. I don't vote. I didn't vote. I wasn't really surprised by the outcome. It's more like it's still kind of disappointing about how it played out, but I wasn't surprised. You know what I'm saying? My thing with voting is, if you feel compelled, if you feel in your spirit, in your heart, that you are playing a part in creating a change by casting your ballot, then by all means do so, as long as you're educated about who you vote for. But I just feel like within this system of capitalism that we've been residing in, this is a corporate nation, it's really about how Bing Rain said in Baby Boy, the guns and the butter, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So really my aspiration is always dealing more kind of like financial and like building on legacy, because I can't count on any politician at the end of the day to really like have my complete best interest. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my personal attitude on it. But with all that being said, like I was surprised how close, when it came to like Stacey Abrams versus Brian Kemp, how close that they had to recount, because you know Brian Kemp has a history of, you know, voter suppression, as well as it's like, you know, disqualifying voters, disqualifying votes. And I really think that was foul. The fact, like, you're the Secretary of State, you deal directly with the voting process. You should, like, you know, step from your position if you want to run for the governor. Like, I feel like that's a monopoly, but then again, that's how the United States of America is built. With the play, so I wasn't too surprised about that. But you know, power to the people that be, because at the end of the day, liberation by any or all means necessary. So.
Yeah, I definitely feel everything that you guys said. Personally, I spent 3 hours standing in a line carrying an almost 20-pound baby. You know what I'm saying, to vote, and like literally right down the street, my mom had voted within and out like 20 minutes tops, and this is in Gwinnett. And when we actually went in, right? When we actually went in, there was like 10 stations set up, but only 3 were like being used. 3. Wow. And this was like last minute. Like I went last day, last minute. But even the lady in front of me was like, hey, like I came early in the day and I had to leave because I had been waiting for 2 hours and it was time for me to go to work. Same location. And it's just like, for me, it's like what you guys said. It's like so many people, like I remember my grandma telling me stories about, like my grandma was the first Black kid to integrate her high school, you know, Marietta High School. And
wow. That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
That's powerful.
That's powerful.
Cobb County.
And that was the first, I had voted before, but that was the first time where it really mattered. And I was like, if she don't win this election, this shit rigged as fuck.
And here we are.
And here we are. And I knew it standing in that line, but something made me not want to leave, you know? And it was like when me and my son walked out with our voter stickers, it was like, okay, we did this shit. You know what I'm saying?
And that's
fuck y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying? You didn't want me to. So that was beautiful for me.
There were locations that they didn't have any charging equipment for the polling machines.
No power cord.
No power cord.
And
there was places. No, go ahead.
No, there are even some states that, by law, like some states have a law to allow you, you know, at least 2 hours to be able to go ahead and vote. Mm-hmm. But that's not
here.
Not nationally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Georgia does not possess that law. And so with Brian Kemp, with the rigged voting machines, with no
I just
power
would like
cord,
to speak very transparently. Like I'm so excited about this. You know, I do nonpartisan work, so a lot of times I can't, you know, speak my mind. But as Sankofa, here I am, and I'm able to say that it's ridiculous that we don't have laws in place where the Secretary of State of a government like state office can run for governor and oversee his own election. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. And the fact that we don't have laws just shows us how far back
Only in the
Georgia
South.
is politically, as a whole.
What say you, Chris? How you feel about it?
Yeah, let us know. Let us know.
What say you?
Because I feel the way.
Donald Trump bought the election. Like,
Yes,
this is where we live.
check
None of this shit is
Right.
surprising. None of this shit is surprising.
Like,
None of this shit.
yes, he over here co-signing this fucking nigga. Like, you gonna pick every other state out of our, like, you pick our state. You know what I'm saying?
I hate when their conversations come up about voter suppression, and it's like, oh, voter suppression, like, this has been crazy this year. It's like, no.
This
Like,
year?
casual.
There's nothing new about voter suppression.
They can actually go into the polls and vote, and so they seen this shit for themselves.
I just want us to, you know, be reminded that even if you don't want to participate in the system of voting and you don't believe in the system of voting, it's important to be informed, because the people who have been like go through these midterm elections, the Brian Kemps of the world, those people go through these elections in order to get into places of power and position in order to run for bigger elections. So it's important for us to be informed at a local place. Like, it's so important for us to know who is in our backyard and who's controlling the day-to-day of our backyard.